Hello, I am Christy Muro, and this video is part of a training I created for new SAP Business One users. Go to my YouTube channel to find all the videos. In this video, you will learn what is a base document and what is a target document, how to convert documents using the copy to and copy from functionality, how to partially copy documents. We're going to see the relationship map, and last but not least, how to track documents using the reference documents. So let's get started. So first, I will explain how documents are connected in SAP Business One. But to understand that, we need to know what is a base document and what is a target document. A base document is the document you start from. For example, a sales order, a purchase order, or an inventory transfer request. And the target document is the document created from the base document. For example, a delivery, a good PO, or an invoice. So let's create one of the base documents. For example, a purchase order. So I'm going to go to purchasing, purchase order. I'm going to select the vendor code, type the item number, change the quantity and set the price. And I'm going to click on add and view. Okay, so now we have our base document, which is the purchase order. So now we're going to convert the purchase order into a good PO. In order to turn a base document into a target document, for example, this purchase order into a good PO, we can use the copy to and copy from functionalities. Right now, I'm going to show you the copy to functionality. The copy to button is in the bottom right corner of the screen. So as you can see here, we have copy to, and we have 4 different options from the purchase order. We have the option to convert this purchase order into a good PO, into an AP invoice, into a AP down payment, or into an reserve invoice. For this example, I'm going to select good PO. When I selected good PO, SAP is going to copy all the information from the purchase order, including vendor code, vendor name, contact person, vendor reference number, the items, quantities, and prices. But here I still have the option to modify the quantities or the prices. Because what if, for example, I have ordered 10 pieces, but when I receive it, I only receive 5. Here I can modify it. So let's do that, and I'm going to click on add and view. Now from the good PO, I am able to convert it to a different document. So for example, here I am able to convert this good PO into a good return request, a good return, or an AP invoice. In this case, I'm going to use the AP invoice. And same thing, SAP copied all the information from the good PO into the AP invoice, but I still have the option to modify it. Right now, I'm not going to modify it, and I'm just going to click on add and view. Once we have the AP invoice, a new icon will be displayed, the base document. You will find out the base document in the toolbar. So I'm going to click on the base document, and SAP will open the good PO. And once I am in the good PO, now another icon will appear in the toolbar, the target document. So now we have the base document and the target document. If I click on the target document, SAP will open the AP invoice. But if I click on the base document, SAP will open the purchase order. I'm going to close it. And again, if I am in the good PO, I have the target document that is the AP invoice. So I'm going to click on it, and now SAP will display the AP invoice. Now I'm going to close it to go back to the GURI CPO. So one way to open the base document and target document is using the base document and target document from the toolbar. But we do have another option, the relationship map. So now I'm going to right click in the GURI CPO and I'm going to select relationship map. Now from this screen, I will be able to see the full picture. I will be able to see the GURI CPO and the base document, which is the purchase order number 1691. And then I will be able to see the target document, which is the AP invoice, the 1648. And from each transaction, I am able to see more information. So additional to the document number, I am able to see the document date and the document total. So from this picture, I will be able to identify if I fully received the purchase order and if I have received the AP invoice from all items. Then we have the icon that tells me if the document is open or closed. For example, here the purchase order is telling me that the PO is open. Why? Because I didn't receive all the items. The good receipt is closed because I have received the AP invoice for the whole good receipt PO. And the AP invoice is open because I haven't paid the invoice to the vendor. Now, from the relationship map, I do have more options. The default one is the document tree, but if I click on the options, I am able to see the posting details that SAP will show me all the journal entries generated in this transaction. Then we have the related items that will show me all the items involved in the transactions. We have the reference document that I will show you later. And then we have any related blanket agreement. Now let's go back to the document tree view. Now from this view, I will be able to navigate through all the documents related to the GURI CPO. So for example, if I want to view the purchase order, the only thing that I need to do is double click in the purchase order square and SAP will display the purchase order. I'm going to close it and same thing, if I want to view the AP invoice, I just need to double click in the AP invoice square and SAP will display the AP invoice. Now I'm going to double click in the GURI CPO to display it. Now here I have created a GURI CPO for 5. I'm going to open the base document, which is the purchase order, and in the purchase order, you're going to see that the original quantity was 10. So here we have quantity 10. So now I want to receive the rest of the quantities. So in order to do so, I'm going to click again on copy to GURI CPO. And here you will see that even if the original quantity is 10, when I click on copy to GURI CPO, SAP changed the quantity to 5. This is because previously I have created a GURI CPO for 5. So now the open quantity in the purchase order is only 5, which is the quantity that SAP used to copy to the GURI CPO. And now I'm going to click on add a new to create the GURI CPO. I'm going to close the screen of the GURI CPO to go back to the purchase order. Now from the purchase order, I'm going to click on the refresh button so that SAP refresh the status. And now you can see that the status of the PO is closed. This is because I fully received all the items. Now let's create another purchase order. So I'm going to change to add mode. So I'm going to select the vendor, the item, I'm going to select a second item and I'm going to change the quantities, set the prices, and click on add and view. Now I'm going to receive the items from this purchase order. So I'm going to click on copy to GURI CPO. But in this case, I'm going to receive only the first item. So I'm going to remove the second line. So I'm going to right click and select delete row and click on add and view. So now the status of this purchase order is still open because I received only the first item. So what if I want to modify the quantity of the second line? SAP will allow me to do so because I haven't received any quantity from that line. But if I want to modify the quantity of the first line, SAP won't allow me to do it because I already created a purchase order for that line. So right now I'm going to modify the second line. So I'm going to change the quantity to 30. And now I'm going to click on copy to GUI CPO. Here you will see that SAP copied the data only from the second line because the first line is closed because I fully received that quantity. So now to create it, I'm going to click on add and view. Now from the purchase order, I'm going to right click and select relationship map. And now you see that we have one purchase order and two GUI CPO. This is because I have created two different GUI CPO from the same purchase order. I'm going to close the relationship map to go back to the purchase order. So from the relationship map, we saw that we will be able to see all the GUI CPOs linked to the purchase order. But what happens if I want to click on the target document from the toolbar? If I highlight the first line in the purchase order and click on target document, the system is going to display the GUI CPO linked to that line, in this case the 1574. But if I highlight the second line and click on target document, the system is going to display the 1575, which is the GUI CPO linked to that second line. So when you have multiple documents created from the purchase order or from any other base document, my recommendation is always to use the relationship map. Because if you use the target document from the toolbar, SAP is going to display only the target document from the line that you have highlighted. Okay, so we saw how to create multiple GUI CPOs from one purchase order, which is multiple target documents from one base document. But now what if I want to create an AP invoice from multiple GUI CPOs? In this case, we need to use the copy from functionality because the function that we have seen so far, which is a copy to, allows me to create only one target document, which it means one GUI CPO into one AP invoice. So I'm going to close the purchase order and now I'm going to go to purchasing AP invoice. I'm going to select the vendor, and as soon as I select the vendor, now the copy from functionality is enabled. So I'm going to click on copy from and select GUI CPO. Here the system will display all the open GUI CPOs from the vendor that I have selected in the AP invoice. So from here, if I want to select multiple lines, I am able to select it by clicking in the first GUI CPO, and if I press Ctrl in my keyboard, I will be able to select multiple lines. So here I am going to select the line number 3 and line number 4, which is the GUI CPO of 1574 and 1575, and I'm going to click on choose. Now the system will open the document wizard, and then from here I will have the option to copy all the data or customize the data that I want to copy over. So I'm going to click on customize and click on next. And from here, the system will show me all the items from the GUI CPOs that I have selected. In this case, I have only 2 lines because each GUI CPO has 1 line. If I want to modify the quantity or remove lines, this is the screen where I need to do it. And now I'm going to click on finish. Now that the system copied all the lines, I just need to complete the posting date, the due date, and click on add and view. Now we're going to see again the relationship map. And now as you can see here, we have one purchase order, 2 GUI CPOs, and 1 AP invoice. Here, the relationship map is telling me that all the documents are closed except the AP invoice. And this is because I haven't created the outgoing payment. So I'm going to create the outgoing payment to see how that appears in the relationship map. So I'm going to close these screens and I'm going to go to banking, outgoing payments, outgoing payments. I select the vendor code. And here the system will display all the open AP invoices. So I'm going to pay in the second one. And in this case, I'm going to pay by cash. And I'm going to create it. Now from here, I'm going to click on the previous record to see the payment that I just created. And from here, I'm going to see the relationship map. Now from here, I am able to see only the AP invoice. But if I double click in the AP invoice and from the AP invoice, I open the relationship map, I will be able to see the whole picture. I will be able to see the purchase order, the two recipios, the AP invoice, and the outgoing payment. And now I have a new icon in the relationship map, which is the payment mid. And here it's telling me that the AP invoice is paid, and that's why now the AP invoice is closed as well. So to summarize, the relationship map shows all the documents that are connected in a process. It does not matter if the documents were created using the copy to or copy from functionality. The map will display the full document chain. Now, how do you decide whether to use copy to or copy from? If you want to create a new document based on one existing document, then the easiest option is copy to. For example, a sales order, copy to a delivery document. But if you need to create a document using multiple source documents, then you should use a copy from. For example, create one delivery document that combines multiple sales order. So basically, you need to use copy to when you have one source document and copy from when you have multiple source documents. So far, we have discussed how to link documents using the copy to and copy from functions. But sometimes those options are not available and we still need to show that two documents are related. In those cases, we can use reference documents. Reference documents allow you to manually indicate that two documents are connected, even if they were not created using the copy to or copy from. For example, imagine that you need to create an AR credit memo related to an AR invoice that is already fully paid. Since the invoice is already paid, the system will not allow you to use the copy to function to create the credit memo. So in this situation, you can create a credit memo and use the reference documents to indicate which invoice it relates to. So here, for example, let's imagine that we have received a credit memo from the vendor related to this AP invoice. So if I open the AP invoice and try to click on copy to credit memo, SAP doesn't allow me to do so because the copy from and copy to functionalities are disabled because this AP invoice is closed. So the only way to do the credit memo is creating a standalone credit memo and link it using the reference document. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to minimize everything. And then I'm going to go to purchasing, AP credit memo to create a credit memo. I select the vendor. And in this case, I'm going to create a service credit memo. So I type the description, select the GL account, type the amount, and create. Okay, so now I'm going to link this credit memo with the AP invoice. So to do so, I'm going to click on the accounting tab. And in the reference documents, we have three dots. I'm going to click on it. And here in the transaction type, I'm going to select AP invoice. And in the document number, SAP will give me the list of AP invoices for that particular vendor. So I'm going to select it here. Click on choose. Here I am able to add some remarks and hit an update. And update again. And now if I right click and select relationship map, I will be able to see this reference document. Now here, as you can see, the default view is the document tree, which will show me only the documents that were linked using the copy to and copy from functionality. But here we have the option to show the reference documents as well. So I'm going to check that option. And now SAP will show me the reference document, which is the AP invoice. Now I'm going to double click in the AP invoice to see the relationship map from the AP invoice. Here we have all the documents that were created using the copy from and copy to functions. But in this case, if I check reference document, the system will show me the credit memo as well, because the credit memo was linked using the reference documents. So again, this option is useful when we are not able to link a document using the copy from or copy to functionality. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching.